Right. Good morning, Biju. On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for taking the time to come share your thoughts with us. We in small business would love to work with city leaders. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to you for any of your opening comments.
Yes, Ramesh, thanks for having me on. I do appreciate this opportunity to connect with the Coppell residents through Chamber of Commerce. It's a great platform to connect. I want to thank Laila and Ramesh for conducting this interview. Like Ramesh mentioned, my name is Biju Mathew. I am asking for your support in my run for City Council Place 6 re-election. I will get into more of my policies in our question and answer session. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Biju. So let me jump into my first question. And the question is, we'd like to know why are you running for city council and why should the voters choose you over your opponents?
Thank you for that question. First, I wanted to thank the support of the Coppell residents for the past 3 years. It's been an amazing journey for me as a city council member. I take that job very seriously. When I was running for the city council, I promised that I would make every effort to attend all the meetings. And I want to report back to the people that proud to say I'm one of the very few people have attended the 100% attendance rate, which means I have attended all the executive meetings, regular meetings, working sessions, and attended all the budget planning and the council retreats and all events associated with the city council member required to attend, which means the result is I have contributed 1,500 plus hours in last 3 years towards our city and its citizens. So I just wanted to say that in the beginning. I am a Christian, father of three boys, and married to my wonderful wife, Shiji. We moved to Coppell from Boston in 2006. So we have lived here in Coppell for the last 15 years. 11 out of 15 years, I served and volunteered for this wonderful city. My friends who are watching online, that's 73% of my time that I lived in the city of Coppell, I have contributed to the betterment of this community. That shows my dedication, commitment, and passion to serve. To manage the growth in the city of Coppell, the challenges that we are facing, the city needs a citizen who embraces service and who have served Coppell in a number of roles to use the skills to create the family community for a lifetime. So what does that all mean to you, the regular people who are watching this? The first 4 years as I served as a park board member, where we have done so many things for our residents. We enhanced the Kid Country. We designed Andrew Brown Park, East and West, and we have done other things for the city of Coppell. And the next 4 years as the Vice President of Coppell Recreational Development Corporation, where you get to use the sales tax revenue, 0.5% of the sales tax revenue that we collect. As some of you probably know, when you buy a product, you pay about 8.25% sales tax. Out of that 8.25, the 6.25 goes to the state and 2% stays within the city of Coppell. So that's half of 1% of that sales tax revenue goes to a general fund, 0.5% goes to CRDC fund, 1/4 goes to the IMF fund, which is infrastructure management one, and 1/4 goes to the police prevention control of budget. And the last 3 years as your city council member, and I want to just touch on what I have done in the last 3 years. On FY, one of the most important thing as a city council member you do is to pass the budget and set the property tax rate. So in FY19 and FY21, I voted in favor of cutting your property tax. On FY20, I voted in opposition to increase the property tax. That shows my fiscal responsibility to the Coppell residents. And I want to continue to serve the city of Coppell. And going forward, I would like to support the 7 pillars of Coppell 2040 vision plan. And thank you.
Thanks, Biju. So moving on to the next question, we would like to know what are the 2 or 3 most important actions you would take if elected? And we also like your thoughts on how would you advance them and how would you pay for those ideas?
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh, for that question. I touched on this. One of the most important issue that we are facing in the city of Coppell and many other municipalities in state of Texas is origination versus destination sales tax rule change 3.334. I just want to give you an example of what does that mean. The Texas controller is changing the way sales tax money will be distributed to the cities. So if you are a Plano resident, you order a packet from Amazon, and that packet leaves the Coppell distribution center. The sales tax revenue collected that I mentioned earlier today, the 2% stays with the city of Coppell. Now the controller is changing the rule that 2% is going to go to the Plano city. So it's a kind of a huge loss for us. We have a lot of distribution centers in our west side of the city. What does that mean in totality for a person who was watching this video? It's about the Coppell sales tax revenue, approximately about $42 million, right? That can be reduced to $26 million if it's fully applied. What does that mean? That will affect our city general budget, the CRDC budget, the IMF budget, and also the crime control budgets. So as a city, we heard about this and we've been proactive about it. We have tightened our belt really on project using these funds. City staff and the council are working very hard to mitigate this effect of sales tax rule revenue changes, reduction. So proactively, we put a freeze on filling 30 city positions and put a hold on many of our capital improvement projects. So going forward, what we'll do is we will evaluate each project before we sign off. So that's one of the major issues that we are facing. And the second issue that I wanted to bring up to the residents is upgrading our neighborhoods infrastructures, right? Including streets, curbs and gutters and sidewalks. Expand the safe, usable sidewalks and trails connecting the community gathering place, like our, Andrew Brown parks and neighborhood and other destinations of interest, right? So provides some kind of incentives for the beautification, or I want to call it greening of Coppell. So I would support projects and ranked and voted by the Parks and Recreation Board with available budget we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Biju. So the next question is, where do you think the emphasis for development and redevelopment should be in our city? Should it be residential? Should it be commercial? And I also like your thoughts on how the city of Coppell has performed in this aspect over the past few years.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh, for that question. So one of the motto for my re-election is a smarter Coppell, a safer Coppell, and a safer Coppell and a smarter Coppell and a stronger Coppell, right? So what does that mean in terms of when we talk about project, right? So when we want to talk about create a stronger Coppell, we need to focus on economic development to increase the sales tax revenue and implement innovative incentive programs to attract and retain business. And we have done so in the past years. Credit due to a lot of people who served in the community in the past. I want to give you some examples of recent transactions so that the people who are watching can understand. We brought signed one of the major corporation to remain in Coppell. It's Varidesk. Now they are called as Vari. They asked for a package, and we did sign on to that incentive plans that the company wanted. And so that's one way we attracted to keep our business in town, right? What does that mean? It means about right now they have 400 employees. It will grow up to 700 employees potentially. And those employees who work there earn more than $75,000 a year. So there's an opportunity for those employees to stay, buy a house in Coppell, and spend their tax dollar money on eating out in our restaurants, using our small businesses for kids activities, right? And grocery stores, gas stations. All these facilities generate sales tax revenue for us. So that is one way. And a big name, non-name car company, McCluster, is also moving their headquarters from New York, Manhattan to Coppell. That brings corporate jobs, right? That also makes demand of our housing, and also those people will be potentially living in Coppell. And so we have a lot of ways to attract and retain the business in Coppell. So I mentioned two names, larger corporations, but there are small companies as well. Small business owners are also in Coppell is doing. And I know there are some restaurants having difficulties due to COVID-19, but we are trying to do everything through our economic development organization, where Mindy is the director of that department. She's reaching out to our small businesses, providing the grants that we got from the federal government and during this COVID bills that the federal government passed. So we are trying to keep them in afloat by providing some grants, rental assistance, and buying equipments for staff and other employees. So those are the two major areas that I think we need to focus on.
Thank you, Biju. The next question is, what are your thoughts about does Coppell deliver services in the most cost-effective manner? When elected, please tell us specific things that you will do to improve this.
Thank you, Ramesh, for that question. It's important our friends in Coppell to understand the Moody's and Standard & Poor's gave Coppell a AAA municipal bond rating. And niche.com has named Coppell as the best place to live in Texas. These ratings are a result of oversight and due diligence of budgets, funding, and expenditures by the city staff and city council and citizens who serves on the boards and commissions that makes recommendation for specific city service, right? So when we go out to issue bonds, we get a good attractive rate because they look at this. These are third-party people coming in and looking from outside to see how we run our city. And it's a testament that our staff is doing a wonderful job of making sure we are very transparent and we do well with the budgeting and the way we spend money. As city council members, you are responsible for approving budget and also spending the money. So that's one area we are doing very well on that area. And I'm an IT profession, right? I have experience of dealing with technology and innovations. When I came into the city council, one of the areas that I wanted to focus and improve was communication between city and the residents. So I took the initiative with the city manager's office to have a better plan for communication. I'll give you an example. We today, the city of Coppell, have a smartphone app for our police department. And also the fire department. They both implemented a smartphone app. the users, the citizens can download them and use it. There are so many wonderful information about City of Coppell is there, and they can utilize that smartphone app. We are pushing a lot of content through that. We also redesigned our website, so it's more friendly, friendly to users experience. We want to make sure that people have a good experience when they visit city's website. We also pushing our content through Facebook, and Twitter, and Nextdoor, other social media avenues and platforms. The reason is some people may focus on Facebook as opposed to Twitter or or website. So we want to provide that services to our people. These are very cost-effective way to communicate our goals and what we are doing in the city council to the people of City of Coppell. Thank you.
Thank you, Biju. And the last question for today is, please rate the transparency of decision making in our city.
Yes, thank you for that question. I was looking at my notes here. One of the things that we as a city did was we had a project plan for City of Coppell for about 10 years. It was called Coppell 2030 Vision Plan. Most of the things in that plan were accomplished, at least the buildings and the amenities that citizens wanted. For example, we have today one of the best parks that we have, Andrew Brown East and West and Central. And we have dog park that our residents can use. We have biodiversity center, right? We have life safety park. We expanded the library. We expanded the core and many other things. And at the end, finally, the art center. So we have done many of the amenities for a small town with 41,000 population that other big cities haven't even done it. So what I'm trying to come across is we have a lot of good amenities for the City of Coppell. And we paid that through our sales tax revenue. So to answer your question, now we are moving on to other plan, which is that it was a community-driven plan for 2030 plan. So there are 7 pillars within that 2040 plan. And the 2 plans, there are 2 pillars that I want to specifically talk about today to answer your question. One of them is called Smart City Board. Smart City pillar. So the residents provided feedback and told us we want to have a smart city approach. So as a city council member, we have decided to create a new board called Smart City. What are the possibilities within the City of Coppell we can accomplish? We all talk about artificial intelligence, drones driving around, delivering packets to your home, and driverless car, and so many artificial intelligence things are going and people are talking about. So, but what can we do in the City of Coppell through this Smart City program? So we have appointed 7 very intelligent, smart people to study and report to the City Council with the recommendation, the things that we can do. The second point I want to mention is we also created a Ford commission or boards. What is that means is future-oriented real estate development board. Many of our older citizens, I meant by sometimes one of the person reminded me, don't call me senior, call me matured person. So I'm going to use that word, matured person. They want to stay in Coppell. They want to remain in Coppell. And how can we keep them there? I'll give you an example. While I was talking with many of the residents as part of the campaigning, one of the person that I met who lives on Hertz Road, he's lived in Coppell for 38 years, and he sold his house 2 months ago and leaving City of Coppell. So I asked him, why are you leaving City of Coppell that you have done so much for? You contributed so much for. He lives on Hertz Road, directly opposite of St. Alfonso Catholic Church. He said his fixed income is $1,950 Social Security check. He's unable to pay all the bills, the property tax, his medication, his utility bills has also gone up, and the amount of the loan that he has in his house. So with that fixed income, they are having difficulty paying out. And the last thing I want to mention is, he was wearing a hat or a cap when I was talking with him. He lifted his hat and showed me, look at my hair. I have not visited a barber in 2.5 months because I don't have enough money to go to see a barber. And he had to make the choice of buying a medication or going to the barber. It might be small money for some people, but I want to look at the opportunity where we can explore increasing homestead exemption for people in city of Coppell. And we are going through a difficult time in city of Coppell, so it is all the reasons that we look into where we can tighten our belt. But these are real people. It's a real story out there that we need to connect with and help people in regards to keeping those people in Coppell. It's a lifetime of community service, right? We want to remain a community for lifetime, but those people are leaving Coppell, and we have to do everything possible in our power to keep these people in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Biju. So that brings to an end all the questions I had. So before we wrap this up, do you have any closing thoughts or comments for the audience?
Yes, thank you. I just want to remind everybody the election day is Saturday, May 1st, but the early voting is going to start early, which is next Monday, which is April 19th through 27th. Please come out and vote. It's important that you express your voice through your vote. And anybody who's registered and eligible to vote, please come out. During municipal election, the turnout is a little bit low, but I will be there, or my volunteers will be there to answer any of your questions. My website is www.biju-mathew.com, and I have my phone number listed there as well. So if you have questions and concerns that you wanted to answer before you cast your vote, please call me or email me. And my email is also there, biju@biju-mathew.com. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And I look forward to serving the next 3 years. As I mentioned earlier, if I do have the honor to serve, I want to focus on this 2047 pillars, and also look at every other way that we can provide a good quality of life in Coppell. Thank you for this opportunity. God bless.
Thank you, Biju. So with that, we will stop the recording.